That's a shame. That's it. Lost water pressure, and I've just had a look at the stop tap. Something scratched in that. Little mouse. Bless it. Not been down there that long, but it's not very well, is it? I say it's dead. It is dead. I can see the flies on it. Poor old thing. Welcome back to the vlog. I've just got back from a long day at school. Started actually lessons at 8:30. Hour and a half drive. There's a rail strike on the motorway. It was horrendous this morning. There was a crash on the opposite carriageway. Yeah, almost late. I'm never late. Almost late. Whoa. And one of the snakes I took was this amazing and rather fidgety yellowtail creeper. This isn't one of my old pair. This is a youngster from them, 3 years old now. Absolutely stunning. Very few children in the UK will ever get to see, let alone hold, a yellowtail creeper. First time at school. Whether it'll be a regular thing, I don't know, but it certainly could be. Well-behaved snake. Anyone that knows the indigos and creebos will know these guys here. Cue noisy plane outside. These guys here, they're flighty and runny. They don't sort of mould around your hands like the eastern indigo snakes and the black-tailed creebos. They're always on the move, but behaved incredibly well. Incredibly well, and it's a nice size. It's not huge, you know, halfway there, I guess, size-wise, but it's a decent sized snake and very beautiful too. So back-to-back lessons all day, 7 or 8, maybe about 7 back-to-back lessons. It was a fun science week for the school, a posh school for all age groups. Every single kid in the school eventually saw me today and met about 3 animals, whether it was birds of prey, snakes or invertebrates. Pretty good. Look at that. Do us a favour. Click on subscribe if you haven't already. Share the vlogs for me. Share the videos amongst like-minded friends. It's all helping to grow the channel. Talking of which, I've mentioned 2 of my friends. Ryan's channel, which I'll pop up on the screen now. He's released a video recently about the biggest eagle that ever lived, the Haast eagle, a formidable eagle with a tale to tell. If you like history, nature, natural history, check out that video. Fascinating video. And Bob Wilson, the wood carver, chainsaw carver, he started a channel recently. As you know, if you watch the vlogs, I did sort of report on that for you guys. He's just strangely, at about the same time last week, released a video of chainsaw carving an eagle wall plaque out of walnut. A really relaxing watch, fascinating. And again, brilliant piece of art at the end. Although I have told him, you know, we watch you carve this amazing piece of art and then we get like 3 seconds to admire it at the end. We need a bit longer. But check those 2 things out. What else can I tell you? Oh, John from Australia sent another lovely photo. They call them flotos in Australia, I don't know. He sent another lovely photo of a brown falcon. Have a look at this. Again, something you just don't see in Britain. We don't see them in the wild because they're from all over Australia. And also, no one flies them. Australia's always been hard to get anything from. Australian animals in the UK market of any kind, their great-great-grandfathers would have been smuggled out of Australia illegally at some point. You just can't get Australian animals. They don't release them from the country, never have done. What else can I tell you? Lily's here right now. Oh, did I get told off by Jackie last week? I put a little clip of Lily on and I didn't spell check it, but my big fingers and thumbs, Lily. Her name's not Lily, it is Lily. Yeah, sort of had to say that. I was contractually forced to say her name isn't Lily, it's Lily. What else? The snake reel. Let me flip you around. I'll show you a little bit in here. Hold on. So mother-in-law's tongue, Sansevieria. Started really putting some more work in now into these snake enclosures. There'll be a separate video about it this week, but we've got some more plants in there. We've got some leaf litter and the plants are running through. It might be a bit too much reflection, but we've got some Swiss cheese plants growing up here. Really going for that much more naturalistic looks in a lot of these enclosures now. It's a gradual thing, but it is nice to see, and it's really making these things far more pleasant for us to look at and for the snakes to live in, I should imagine. And there were birds of prey on the team, but the other snake, Dakota here, the albino American black rat snake, unusually coloured. Not my favourite coloured snake really. I'm not that mad on albinos, but I've got a couple here. But a great size snake, easy going. and a story to tell. Look at that. Here, just waiting for another couple of years for his girlfriend to grow up. And hopefully a species will actually produce here. He's a good boy. Oh, don't drop her. Gertrude, the Asian forest scorpion. Again, fantastic. And you thought I dropped her then. And as most of you know, a little shine with an ultraviolet light in the darkened classroom turns this into a sort of animal that goes from ugh to wow. Beautiful creatures. I really love scorpions. Most of my school visits, well, yeah, most of them do have on the team a hissing cockroach. They're totally benign, and yet they're a really good icebreaker. That cockroach, and yet easily to stroke for anyone. I can sort of test out what the class is like, scaredy pants or not scaredy pants. Hissing cockroaches, always a great help on the team. Didn't feature much today, but she did get to meet a couple of classes. Dragon, 15-year-old crested gecko. Who doesn't like something they can stroke that's squishy? Budwing stick insects. If you watch the vlogs, you know they're, oh, goodness me, an omnipresent animal here in the reptile room. These guys, they breed constantly. Pathogenetic, so they're all females that lay fertile eggs that hatch into basically carbon copies of themselves. Budwing stick insects. Another fantastic icebreaker of an animal. Not too big, but not too small. A lovely sized stick insect. It's actually very easy to keep. If you're in the UK and you want one, find out how to contact me and I'll get one to you. Brilliant. The bearded dragon. The common old pet lizard, but what a fantastic personality they are. And a great thing for an animal educator. They're just so chilled out as lizards go. Bearded dragons, they're a bit boring looking, but they're wonderful personalities. Look at that. What a lovely darling. Let's get her back into her enclosure. It's Friday already. We've got 2 weekends left to get this place how we want it for the first of our Easter week. Well, actually for the first of our April weekend openings, the weekend before Easter, sort of a soft opening, make sure everything works and works well. This is what it's like with any kind of property. Loads to do. Just wasted 40 minutes trying to work out why the pressure's gone down on the hose that we use to water the birds and clean everything. Still haven't found the answer. I think a bit of muck's got caught in the outside taps. I'm gonna have to dismantle that and eliminate that. So much to do. So hopefully today I'm gonna get a couple of the smooth snakes and another species of snake out in their enclosures. If I get that far today, the weather at last is spring. Everything's wet and muddy. We need the ground to dry out. But the birds are singing, the bees are out, and I've got a t-shirt on, so it's coming along. 2 weekends left, but this weekend Jackie and I have got to go sort of 150 miles north to see Lee Brindley to collect an adult breeding pair, fully breeding dress great crested newts. Now there's great crested newts in my pond at the Falconry Centre. There's great crested newts where my son works, but I can't put them from the pond into an aquarium for the public to see and learn about, because I'd be subject to an incredibly heavy fine. It's illegal to mess with those things without a licence. Luckily, people like Lee Brindley and myself breed great crested newts in a paperwork trail line pre-1981, before the Wildlife and Countryside Act changed, when they were less protected and you could keep them, like now you could keep a smooth newt without a problem. So I'm going all the way out there because although I've got juveniles, My adult pair died in hibernation this year. If you watch previous vlogs, I think it's because I was feeding them too many dendrobenid worms and not enough earthworms. They don't really like them, Lee was telling me. So I don't think I had enough body weight for hibernation. So a bit stupid of me there. What's done is done. So Lee's got various pairs, and he said he'll donate a large adult pair to the UK Wildlife Menagerie so the public can learn about this special species of amphibian that they can help in their gardens or local area. So a long old journey. We're going to spend a weekend up there. I'm going to try and get up to the Colchester Zoo. Not Colchester Zoo. Dave, he's lost the plot. The Chester Zoo, goodness me. Really want to go to Chester Zoo, never been. Made loads of excuses to go, never have. That's the plan, but we're not sure if we're going to get time. Next week I am flat out all over the country with schools. So realistically, after today, it leaves me next weekend to crack on and get this place looking shipshape. Lots to do, still to do. I think we're going to get there. I'm going to conclude the vlog, hopefully, after I've seen Lee. So you'll be watching this on Sunday morning, maybe Sunday evening. And I'm hoping to see Lee on the Saturday. He's in a rush. He's got to get somewhere else across the country, 3.5 hours away from him, to pick up some albino frogs, or some albino frog spawn that's turned up in someone's garden. He works with European, rather, Dave can't speak, common frogs, British common frogs. He works with various colour morphs and breeds them. So while he's waiting for me to turn up there, 150 miles from me, he's then got to leave at 10 o'clock, 11 in the morning at the latest, to drive across to the side of the country to pick up some different amphibians for himself. Crazy people in the amphibian world. So here they are. Smooth snakes. Just coming out of hibernation. Time to go back into their quarters. Captive bred in Europe. Again, a highly protected species. Do you think that one's hungry or just having a go? Highly protected. Very fortunate to have these genuine captive bred smooth snakes as part of our UK conservation stroke education program here at the centre. Something most people have never seen in their lives, and yet these fantastic creatures, Britain's rarest reptile, unless you count the odd vagrant sea turtle. What a species to have, to try and get people behind the need and the care, you know, to conserve British wildlife. If you live in Britain, the rare British wildlife, the stuff you can genuinely help yourself. Why is this phone doing this? Has to be the most important. Absolute stunners in their own little way. Wow, it actually is a spring day. I've got a t-shirt on. I'm actually too hot with my woolly hat on. Nothing to show you. We've just done a bit of training with Azure, the peregrine falcon. I'm just going to do a little bit with Zeus. Haven't got anyone with Zeus, with Wurzel. Haven't got anyone to film, but basically Wurzel the bald eagle. I've got him flying on a line until next week, and that's just getting his wings moving again after his molt. Get those wing muscles moving, and then it's going to be time to go free next week. This is what I wanted to show you. I don't know. I don't think you've seen it. I've just watched 2 brimstone butterflies flying around the paddock here. 2 males. The males are the yellow ones. The females are actually white. They look like a cabbage white in the distance, but they're basically a white butterfly. Those lovely sulphur yellow butterflies of spring. The first one's out of hibernation most often. Brimstone butterflies. For one day only, spring is here. So we're here, finally, at Lee Brindley's place. There he is, look. What a handsome guy. And a musician as well.
Barely.
But look at all this stuff. Lee really is, when it comes to great crested newts, morphs and species and subspecies, I think he is the king. And his passion as well is actually frogs, common frogs now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah.
early with
Anything European, really, but that's,
yeah, but you can't have it all, can you, Lee?
Lee?
You can't have it all. You've got to specialise, haven't you?
I think
You've
so.
gotta-
I think so, yeah. The best way of doing it.
I think you're doing that, aren't you?
Yeah,
With,
you can easily have too big a collection, I think, but...
And what I really envy Lee for is his common sense. All of these enclosures, no heating. No heating. Why didn't I go down that road? Is anyone else working with common frogs in the UK of morphs and colours?
No, not that I'm aware of. No. Yeah, all the animals have come from the UK, from wild animals. And yeah, it's something that a lot of people seem interested when they see them.
Yeah.
They see them out there.
I think it's the future, isn't it?
Yeah,
With
no one's
electricity
working.
and that kind of thing.
I think the big problem when you take the albinos and that from the wild and you breed them, you get normal looking offspring. So people aren't really bothered with them and they let them go. And they don't realise you've got to produce the heterozygous offspring, breed them together.
We're not patient as humans, are we?
Yeah,
It
it
hurts
takes
to be
at least
patient,
2
doesn't
years to get to maturity as
Yeah.
well. So it's
But
a
most
big
of the snake
investment,
breeders are
so-
looking at 3 or 4 years, aren't they? Every time they've got to grow something on
Yeah.
to produce a morph or something. But
Yeah.
I do think it's the way to go. So Lee's lucky at the moment. He hasn't got any competition, so he scours social media for someone that says, there's a bright blue frog turned up in my pond, or one with polka dots or something. And hence today, he is literally doing a 7 hour, is that right? 7 hour round trip
thereabouts, yeah.
to get some frog spawn for some...
Yeah.
So, as I said earlier, amphibian keepers, they're a crazy bunch. How cool is that? So Lee's actually given us an adult breeding pair of great crested newts from eggs that he reared from the late Dr. Snell, who was breeding and keeping newts in captivity for conservation purposes for decades before the law changed in 1981, which meant they were a higher protection and you couldn't remove them from the wild. So we've actually got an original pair of Snell animals from Lee, and he's given us another male, excuse the dog whining in the back, another male that's het for albino as well, another breeding size adult male. What a great guy, what a great setup, and someone that's working with animals that really, you know, on the cutting edge of this kind of thing. Loads of people like me keep all these reptiles and amphibians from around the world. They require in some cases a lot more lighting, like Ruddy Dog, a lot more lighting, a lot more heating, and it costs a fortune at the moment with the energy prices. And yet we could be working and helping even conserve and get the word out there with some amazing stuff that actually needs no heating whatsoever. You can see them in the next vlog, released into their aquarium, or else you're not going to get to see this vlog in time. And I think I'm going to put a little bit in the future. I'm going to make a little tiny short video clip about these newts indeed and meeting Lee as well. Hope you've enjoyed this week's video. I've enjoyed it. I've worked out those newts, you know, with the cost of fuel, stopover, taking Jackie to the Port Merion seconds factory up here, probably going to Colchester Zoo. They're probably the most expensive newts in the whole world, but well worth it for the public that visit Icarus Falconry and holdenme.com to actually appreciate the stunning beauty of the UK woodland and greater wildlife here where we actually live. See you in the next one.